It's a hot one today. But you know what? We're halfway through the year, so it should be getting a little better. Let's talk blades, everybody. That's what we're into. Today, I have for you guys kind of a throwback, in my opinion. It's cold steel. If you guys haven't already seen that right in front of you. Now, all of you might be wondering, why? Why'd you go back to cold steel? Why'd you go back to cold steel? BA? Come on, man. What are you doing? You said you didn't like cold steel. I never said I didn't like cold steel. I said that I didn't really care for some of their more current stuff, or at least that's what I meant anyways. I do have a soft spot for cold steel, and I think I always will. Thus, this right here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Ti-Lite, but it's not just any Ti-Lite, everybody. It is the Ti-Lite Kriss dagger. Kriss version blade. I shouldn't say dagger. It's not really a dagger, you know, but whatever. So, you know, yeah, it's doing a little bit of cheating. You got all the specs on the box already as it is. So the blade length is right at 4 inches. Overall length is 8 3/4. The blade steel is, yes, AUS 10A. Weight on this is 3.7 ounces. Blade thickness 3 millimeter. Handle 4 3/4. Zi-X. Another term for fancy, durable, military grade plastic, I would assume. Now, what led me to get this? Well, first of all, I'm gonna tell you right now. I had to do a little bit of light research on cold steel. They did sell their company to GSM, and Lynn Thompson had a video up explaining why he did that. He believes that it'll be a good move for his company, and Lynn and Andrew Thompson, Lynn Thompson and Andrew Demko, excuse me, have both stayed in the company, and they are planning to stay with the company to continue the future of cold steel. GSM is a company that Lynn believes will help carry the legacy and take the company and keep the company in good shape. So keeping everything in stock, as far as, you know, just keeping up with everybody's demands, and still being able to satisfy our sweet tooth for the designs that they have and the ideas that they put forth in their blades. So overall, I don't know how to feel about that. I really would have wished that cold steel would have stayed just cold steel, but who knows? Maybe this you know, company with GSM collaboration, I shouldn't say collaboration, but this teaming up of these names will help keep cold steel in the right light as far as their future goes. So I guess we'll see. This is kind of I guess, to me, I don't know how far along they are with the company. I don't know if they actually, if this was made by both or by one before it turned into the other. I don't know. But yeah, so cold steel, Ti-Lite Kriss. It is literally, it's pretty damn cool. Intimidating? Yeah, I believe it's intimidating. They got that flame wavy pattern on this blade. It is a single edge. Obviously, I wouldn't be running my finger on the back if I knew that it wasn't. And of course, you also have that reinforced tip right there. So that tip is going to be just a little bit stronger. So that's great. And also kind of reminiscent of a hawkbill kind of tip. So you got that hook. So it catches and it'll cut. And if I'm correct, which I'd like to think that I am, if you go straight down, that tip is pretty much dead center. So it's not completely hooked forward. It still has the ability to shank. It still has the ability to stab straight. So that's really good. That's really good. So with that, I'm going to also bust out the original, the original cold steel Ti-Lite in the AUS 8 steel. This is AUS 10, AUS 8A. So you got 8 and you got 10, excuse me. And of course, the handle is the same, it's just different colors. Everything about this knife is the same other than the blades are different. And of course, that also refers to the quillions, which I've also noticed this. The quillions on this knife are the same size on both sides. As you can tell, they're not, neither one of them are bigger than the other. And here, before I almost stabbed my hand just now, this quillion, this forward quillion, is bigger than this back quillion. That's a very interesting thing. Now, I think they did that because the jimping that is on these quillions are very light. And on the original quillions here on this one are just a little bit more aggressive. You can actually see them. They're more prominent. They're cut a little bit deeper. So these are meant to catch. This, I believe it's meant to catch as well on the pocket if you're trying to wave it out the pocket. But the quillions, they're uneven. So I believe they did that so that way this can actually work with the lighter, the etching of it, or not the etching, but the carving of the jimping on there. So that's fine. It's just a little different. I've noticed that in the pictures, but I thought that was just a picture, you know, because maybe they had it at a funky angle or something. But no, that's how it is. This quillion's smaller than that one, so that's fine. It still works. So you have a three-way opening, and what I mean by that is you have the thumb stud, you have the wave opener, which I know they don't call it that, but, you know, because of obvious reasons. You snag this on your pocket, and it pops open like an Emerson, and it does that pretty well. And you have the third, which is also what a lot of people, and someone pointed this out to me years after I even knew what it was, as a flipper. So this is kind of like a, someone said it's not really exactly a flipper, more of a button, but if you push it, you have that little bit. You just gotta flick your wrist. That was bad. That was still bad. There we go. Because that thing's smaller. This is smaller, so it's not normal size. And you actually kind of have a flipper. So you have that three type of opening on this, which I think is great. Obviously this knife is still very new. I just got it, so it's a little bit tight. It had a little bit of lock stick, but that's fine. I mean, this thing is going to be... One thing I love about Cold Steel is that they're known for their strong knives. They're built to take a beating. And that's one thing that kind of left a lasting impression on me anyways, as far as how I see Cold Steel. And Cold Steel has made it right for years in the past. So seeing kind of this, or should I say this, but in this style, making it that much better and different and outside of, you know, anyone's other... I can't even speak, excuse me. outside of the box, really cool stuff. This is different. This is new. This screams Cold Steel, so I had to get it. So before they came out with, you know, I think the Luzon is what they had. The Luzon. I don't have it anymore. I think I gave it away. I didn't like it very much. Their cheaper line of stuff, and then I got I think the Storm Cloud was my most recent purchase before this, and I was just not very impressed. I was not. The handle didn't feel right. I mean, yeah, it was carbon fiber, but it was slippery, and it didn't feel like a Cold Steel. I mean, yeah, it had the triad lock to it, but it was just it didn't satisfy me, so I kind of just lost interest in Cold Steel. You know, I'd see pictures here and there of stuff, and then when I saw a picture of this, I was like, oh man. So I had to kind of wait, you know. But this is well worth the wait. I gotta say, this feels exactly like this one. I mean, hardly any difference other than just the appearance and overall blade steel. But it operates the exact same, just newer, you know, because it's right out of the box. It's fresh off the press, I guess, if that's what you want to say. So that's a very interesting thing. Now the Kriss, if you want to look back on the history of this, I'm not going to get into it. It's kind of boring. I'm not going to bore you with the history lesson on this. But this style type blade, this blade shape is very old. If you look it up, there's so much information on the Kriss. It goes back to, I believe it's Orients. So I want to say Japanese, Korea, and Philippines had the Kriss style blades. And it was basically just the early version of serrations, because this was known to cut deeper as it were to run across a surface, be dragging across a surface. It would actually cut deeper each time. And so it acted as, you know, just kind of old school serrations, just in a very flame-shaped, movie-style, executioner type. Oh man, I think I've seen this kind of blade style in movies and in museums and, you know, art magazines, but I've never actually had a chance to actually hold one. So, and me working at a sword shop, I've had a couple of chances to hold one, but I never was drawn to it. But now Cold Steel doing it, because they claim that no one else has, I think is actually a really cool attention grab right there, and it did. It grabbed my attention. So cool stuff. It waves out the pocket the same way. It carries the same way. The only thing that I want to say that I don't like, obviously, is the fact that you got ½ an inch of handle sticking out of your pocket. But I guess that goes with the territory. I did order a deep carry pocket clip for this styled knife. But judging from the person who's making it, it's going to not be here for a while. So that's fine. As long as I get one, I still have that option if I really feel I need to. This is really cool nonetheless. Not really my color. This dark earth color is what they like to call it. This dark brown. Kind of like a really muddy coffee color. So, it doesn't really bother me. As long as it's a dark color, which this is, it's fine. You know, it's okay. What I really would have thought would be really awesome is if they actually did like a special edition on this and made like a hammered kind of handle scale to make this thing look really like it's trying to, you know, look old, because this blade style is old. If they did like a hammered handle scales on this, oh man, that'd be really cool, like on aluminum or something, or titanium or something like that. That'd be freaking awesome. Up the blade steel. But, you know, AUS 10, I'm not familiar with AUS 10, so I get to really see how well that's going to hold up, because AUS 8's pretty soft, and you know, it's better than Pakistan steel or 440 stainless, which I'm not saying anything. The first one that was released of this kind was in 440 stainless, and I did not pull the trigger on that. I did not want to spend that kind of money on a 440 stainless steel blade. I did not like the idea of that. I just thought that that was kind of a step down more than step up. So this is actually really nice. I really like it. I do have another one on the way. It is the serrated version, the 6-inch Kriss in AUS 10A. So it's going to be really cool to have that in the collection, with my Ti-Lite collection being what it is. I was having a very hard time trying to choose whether or not I wanted the original Kriss or the serrated in the 6-inch, but I decided to just go ahead and get the 6-inch serrated because it just looks so damn mean. It looks meaner than this, and this looks pretty damn intimidating. So yeah, this isn't something that, if you plan on purchasing this knife, this isn't something I would recommend busting out in public, although you're going to have the people that don't care, and you're going to have the people that are just terrified of weapons, and weapons being anything less of a box cutter or hard-boiled egg, you know, would freak somebody out. So just be really careful if you were to bust this thing out, because this is, I don't think this is exactly something somebody's just going to take lightly, you know. If you're at a Starbucks and you're trying to cut open your mail or whatever you do, you bust this thing out, you're probably going to scare some people. They might pee just a little bit. But this is really nice. It's very sharp. It's still the signature Cold Steel that everyone knows and loves. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the specs of this knife. I'm going to try and keep this out of the camera as best as I can. I'm going to close the blade on this one right here, just for now. So I'm going to keep that. It's going to, you know, be right there. But this is really, really just super freaking awesome. I'm really happy to have this in my collection now. All right, so we'll get into the weight of it. You're looking at a 3.78 ounces. It's under 4 ounces, people. That is just awesome. It's freaking awesome. It's a nice and light knife. What would make it perfect would be a deep carry pocket clip, Cold Steel. Yeah. And of course, go ahead and do the length. So you got a 4-inch blade. They weren't lying about that. And almost 9 inches overall, but you're looking at a realistic 8 7/8 overall. And of course, to the handle, if you're just carrying it, you're looking at close to 5 inches, 4 3/4. And of course, we'll go ahead and get into the width of things. If I can get my calipers out. There it is. Alright, so the handle, you are looking at a little weird 16.8 at the swell. And a 2.5 at the blade. So, I believe this comes out to 67 and change, I believe. Somewhere around there. Not bad. Not bad. Not a huge fan of plastic handles. I believe it's kind of cheap, but I'm not saying that about this knife. For years, I have carried this guy right here, way before this was in the beginning of when I started collecting knives. This was one of the first ones to hit my pocket and stayed in my pocket the longest before I started switching it up and buying other cold steels and buying other knives and growing my collection. This was the one that I carried most of the time, and I've just cleaned it up. The blade's a little bit dulled out, but I've been using it properly. It does have scratches. I've just been trying to buff them out, trying to keep this knife in good shape is what I'm trying to do. But it does have scratches. You can't really see. I'm trying to catch them in the light. It's kind of difficult to do, but they're there. I didn't want to beat on this knife. It was one of my favorites. It's there. Oh, there's paper. Yeah, I'm going to do a cutting test for you guys. So, yeah. Seeing that they had the Kriss model for this thing out, I really had to get one. 2. I was almost about to get 3 because I didn't know how to make up my mind, and I was like, you know what, I'll just get one of each. I didn't want to do that. I know that I would end up getting rid of the other one if I didn't want it, and I didn't want to go through that. It'd be a huge waste of money. If not, I'm already doing it now. But anyways, this is an awesome knife. If you're into this kind of thing, if you like something cool, you bust this out, and you know, this is kind of a conversation starter. Why'd you choose that? Why do you have that? Who carries that? Why would you carry? It's just cool. I just think it's really cool. But you have all the text right there: Cold Steel Taiwan AUS 10A. Ti-Lite at the bottom. Now let's look at the older version and see what this thing has. Ti-Lite right on the spine almost. And the text is just a tad bit, you know, different. Still good stuff though. So, my overall feelings about this knife, I really do like it. Do I wish it was a black handle? I guess it really doesn't matter, as long as it's a dark color and not some ugly other ugly color. So I think that's fine. It's not olive darb or anything like that, so it works out. It looks really cool. The only thing I have a problem with, obviously, is, well, I just wish that deep carry pocket clip Cold Steel, you should throw one on the Ti-Lite for once. That'd be great. Either way, it still does what it needs to do. It's still very sharp. I'm going to bust out the paper. You can do a little bit of cutting, why not? I got my fan on, by the way. So yeah, this thing can cut. It's very sharp. Now the only problem, if you were to purchase this knife, kind of hung up there. I think it's just the blade shape. This is a very sharp knife. That's just, I guess, because my fan's going on and can't really... Yeah, that tip is razor sharp. I barely dragged it. Yeah, this is nice. So, I think the only thing that I would say about this knife that you would have to watch out for is if you decide to sharpen it. This is going to be a real pain in the ass to sharpen. I'm going to say that right now. This is going to be a real pain to sharpen. So however way you do it, and trying to keep the blade shape without ruining it, I think, and the tip, is going to be a bit of a challenge. But as long as you don't intend to ruin the knife too much, then the overall blade appearance should be fine. But that is going to be one hell of a task to sharpen this thing. But hey, what do I know? It's not like I collect knives or anything. So if you're interested in this here knife, I would go ahead and pick you up one. It's not breaking the bank. To me, it's a decent budget kind of knife. Like I said, it's under 80 bucks, man. That's still pretty damn good. It's still pretty damn good, and coming from a good company. So I'm happy that Cold Steel did that. I was almost completely out of hope for Cold Steel, and all of a sudden, bada boom, you know, you get this. I'm going to review the 6-inch one once it comes in. I believe that's probably going to be tomorrow. Try and get in a review if I can. If not, you'll still get a review, just as, you know, when I have the time available to do it. I love you guys, and thank you guys so much for the support you've given me. I really do appreciate that. My subscribers are going up, man. I can't wait to hit that 500 subscriber mark, man. That'd be great. I would love to see that. So if you know anybody who's interested in knives, or likes to hear my voice talk, or just hates everything and just wants to look at whatever I got, man, send them my way. I would use the support. I would be gladly grateful for it. So anyways, go ahead and slash that like button, stab that subscribe, slice that bell icon so you guys know when I post new stuff in these craziest of times. Everybody, please be kind, be safe, carry responsibly, and I'll see you all awesome people in the next video.